really excited to get to this. Not For those of you who are watching this for the first time, thank you very much. My name is Michael DeLu, and I'm going to be your host for today's podcast. You're tuned in to Pull Up the Tape. Let's get it. I like to run through the same spiel every single time I'm blessed to do this. My name is Michael DeLu. We finna politic about sports. Like, comment, subscribe, and just for those who don't know, if you ever hear an African screaming the way I do in the beginning of the podcast, you know what you're tuned into. You listen to Pull Up the Tape. So, let me get you into the politics. So, we're going to talk about Jordan's Last Dance, give my thoughts on the newest episodes that came out this week. I'm going to get into the Cowboys signing Andy Dalton and LeBron James' tweet. I'm a little late on that, but I do want to discuss that, and the passing of Don Shula. So, first thing I want to talk about is The Last Dance. Okay, so Jordan has been the talk of the town since I can't remember exactly when the episodes first released, but honestly, for those of us who are into sports, love basketball as well, this has been the center and focus of the NBA universe because it's the only thing that's relevant at the time. So, in this 2 episodes that released this past weekend, try not to get emotional. The Last Dance covered the Kobe's first All-Star game and Kobe's relationship with Jordan. And I saw a lot of things that really stood out to me in the 2 hours of the documentary that I watched this weekend. And one of them was how great Kobe was at such a young age. Kobe Bryant had the Eastern Conference All-Stars politicking about him before the game, in the locker room, and during the game. Jordan literally gave during the timeout, he was talking about, oh yeah, he's gonna make him work on the defensive end because he's a handful on the offensive end, and he wants him to stay honest in terms of him guarding him and all this stuff. And just as he was talking, you could just see that at a very young age, and even all the other All-Stars who were low-key, I wouldn't say low-key vets, but they were up there in age, they could all see that Kobe was going to be a force to be reckoned with in the years to come. And even Kobe had quite a bit of airtime in this episode, as a couple times, not only were they just showing him as a young bull when he was 19 at his first All-Star game, they asked him questions about Jordan and his relationship with Jordan, and Kobe goes on to say that he thinks it's crazy that he gets all these comparisons to him, but without Jordan, he would not have accomplished all the things that he accomplished in his NBA career. Which I personally feel like Kobe was being a little modest, but according to Kobe, Jordan helped him an immense amount during his 20-year NBA career. So I thought that was really interesting, and it really made me sad because, I can tell that this was, no, obviously I can tell, but this was filmed maybe like 2017, or Kobe's portion where he's talking was filmed in like 2017 or 2018, and it just felt so refreshing and good to see Kobe talking about the game of basketball and just talking and just hearing his voice and seeing new footage of him speaking that I haven't seen before. It's really heartbreaking because they also showed a clip of Jordan. I also seen after the episode a clip of Jordan. It was circulating on Twitter. Some of the stuff that Jordan was saying about Kobe at his memorial, and they both echoed the same sentiments. Kobe always said Jordan's like a big brother to me. Jordan said Kobe's like a little brother to me. So, and they just both of them had immense respect for each other on and off the court, and it was just beautiful to see. Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. I love you, miss you. Nothing's been the same since you departed from this world. I hope you're looking down at us and you're proud of everything that's happened. Hope you're proud of me. I never got the chance to meet you. Always wanted to, but unfortunately it didn't work out like that. So rest in peace, Kobe. Another thing that stood out to me was the Dream Team. As Jordan would say, the greatest group of basketball talent ever assembled. So the 1992 Olympic team that represented the U.S. in basketball. It's the Dream Team. I already knew this because I've actually watched the documentary on the Dream Team like 1,000 times, but it was just, again, seeing new footage of the events that happened in Barcelona in 1992 being talked about, and hearing the same exact thing that I forgot how the team was broken up, but I know Magic and Jordan were on two separate teams. I think Magic had Jordan had Scotty, Patrick, Bird, and I think Barkley. And Magic had I think he had Stockton. I know he had Clyde Drexler, and I know he had Karl Malone, and I can't remember who his big was. Who's the other big? I can't remember. But anyways, yeah, Magic and Charles are on the same team, and they're up about 8 in, I think, like late third, or early fourth, and then Magic just starts popping it, politicking. Yeah, I still got it. I'm still big dog, whatever. And from what the documentary says happened, and not even just the documentary, I know this happened because this is the same recollection of the events, that it stayed consistent through I don't know how many years. Jordan goes down the court the next 6 or 7 possessions and scores every single bucket. And Jordan's team ends up winning. And I guess it was a lot of tension after the practice. I mean, obviously, people's egos, people are trying to show out. You know, everybody wants to look like the alpha dog. And they get on the bus. It's dead silent for about 10 minutes, and then Charles and Magic look at each other. It's like, damn, I guess we shouldn't have started talking shit. Then the whole bus starts laughing. But just to hear about that, just high level competition, and that's speaking of high level of competition. The same atmosphere, like we shouldn't have to worry about the NBA being played. I know I'm deviating from my point, but the 1992 like scrimmage, like of the Dream Team, should show us that we shouldn't be worried about fans not being able to watch the games or the fans not being there. I think the players will definitely gear up, and like these players are taught. Like I think that should be a perfect example of why we shouldn't be opposed to that. The players will strap it up. They know how they're gonna play competitive basketball with or without fans. So I don't think we should worry about that. But just how intense, and all of them. Magic says it, Bird says it, Michael says it, how competitive it was, and it was just an amazing. He said that was the best game of basketball he's ever played. That was the best game of basketball Jordan's ever played. And then it went on to talk about Isaiah obviously being left off the team, which the documentary did a very good job of portraying. I mean, even though it was the truth, it wasn't just Jordan that didn't want Isaiah on the team. Bird didn't want him on the team. Not Rodman. Karl Malone didn't want him on the team. Scottie Pippen for sure didn't want him on the damn team. Magic didn't want him on the team. A good amount of people. It wasn't just Jordan, but Jordan. I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, Jordan was the king of basketball at that time, and if he said he didn't want anybody on the team, they weren't gonna be on the team regardless. And even though Jordan does claim, it wasn't his decision. It wasn't his decision to not have Isaiah on the team. Come on now. You can't convince me in your own documentary that it wasn't your choice or you didn't have a huge say-so in Isaiah not being a part of the team. Like, I refuse to believe that. Like, that doesn't. 1 + 3, 16, something doesn't add up because that's not true. I refuse to believe that. So, overall, great episode. And even this week's episode, they talked about Jordan's gambling. I don't even want to talk about the gambling because I myself had an issue with gambling in college. And it went as far as I think I lost a couple $100 off Madden with my roommate. And earlier this year, I lost a couple $100 when I played DJ from Booblux in Madden. I bet $100 the first game, lost. Bet again because I felt like, oh no, there's no way I just got ran like that, and then lost again. So I ended up losing $200 in the span of an hour, and it still hurt. Not, I wouldn't say it hurts. I'm relishing the opportunity to play him again. See, we're gonna get it cracking again, and I plan on beating him this time. So Jordan had an issue with gambling. He was rich, so I can't really comment on that. Like, because honestly, I think if I had the money that Jordan had, like I was telling Juju, Mike, and Ovi, I would bet on every Super Bowl. I would bet on every NBA playoffs. I would bet on a bunch of shit because I feel like it's just a chance for me to one up somebody in terms of competitiveness. So I would be betting. I wouldn't bet on dumb shit, but I would bet on a lot of stuff. Probably not. I wouldn't actually gamble per se. I probably would only bet on like myself, like in Madden and 2K and FIFA, and probably just sports I follow very well. So soccer, basketball. I wouldn't actually go to Vegas and gamble because I'm not good at cards or playing poker or any of that shit. But Jordan had a big gambling problem. I don't feel like if that's all they're going to talk about in terms of his gambling issue, they didn't really do it justice in the way they portrayed it, because I found out some very key things about his gambling addiction from my homie Mike. Told me, but I don't want to get into that because that's just not my lane to discuss. So not going to talk about that. So our next topic. Over the weekend, the Dallas Cowgirls, yes, I said it, Cowgirls, signed Andy Dalton to a 1-year deal. The base salary is going to be $3 million. And with the incentives kicking in, it can be up to $7 million. My initial thoughts on that is, damn. Andy Dalton in his first year as a Dallas Cowboy is going to make more than Dak Prescott did yearly while he was the quarterback for the Cowboys. He's been playing for $2 million, I think, every season since he entered the league. No, just last season he played for $2 million. I know the season before that it was like 1 point something. So he's been playing for last season he played for $2 million, while Andy comes in, gets $3 million, and can get $7 million with incentives. So my first thing that I want, my obvious take on this is Dallas now has an elevated level of leverage in the negotiation with Dak Prescott. Because at this point, it's like we're ready to politic with you and get this done. This is what the Cowboys get for not paying him, for waiting until the 23rd hour to pay Dak, when they could have signed him to a contract extension last year at the end of the 2018 season, and it wouldn't have cost them this much. They probably wouldn't even have to reset the market with his contract the way they do now because they waited so long. Not only have the Cowboys went about this the wrong way the entire time, this is probably the smartest decisions they've made since they began negotiations with him. They've given him as reported 5-year, $130-something million, 60-something guaranteed, and Dak did not accept it. I don't know, for whatever reason. I'm not going to speculate on the man's pockets, but that seemed like, first of all, you're not an elite quarterback. Your contract should not be resetting the market because you're not Brady, you're not Rodgers, you're not Breeze. Shit, you're not even as good as Matt Ryan in my eyes. You're not like the upper echelon of quarterbacks where you being on the field actually correlates to direct wins. You're not those guys I just named. Given that, I feel like if what's being said on what they reported on First Take, where it's a matter of he wants a 4-year deal versus a 5-year deal, I'm like, bro, that's goofy. Just sign the damn contract. Nobody else is going to give you the money first of all, you're not worth the money you're being offered, and I don't think anybody else with logical sense, which seems like a lot of these GMs don't have, because my point earlier, if they would have signed him to a contract extension at the end of 2018, they wouldn't be in the situation they're in now. They wouldn't have to reset the market with his contract, blah, blah, blah. And he would have already signed the money because he was eager to get off getting paid 1 point something million as the starting quarterback and he hasn't missed any games since he became the starter. Whatever. But now Dak has to look. Now, who knows if that offer is still going to be even on the table anymore? And Dak now has to wonder, like, yo, I mean, Andy Dalton is no scrub. Like, he's been to the playoffs multiple times. He hasn't won a playoff game, but I'm going to leave that. I'm going to throw that on to Marvin Lewis because he was not it. Andy Dalton is no scrub. Played in the Rose Bowl in college. Been to the playoffs multiple times. He's good, a good quarterback. I mean, he's not great. He's a good quarterback. He's better than most. Better than the average quarterback. Well, better than the ones we've had in Jacksonville. So I'm thinking at this point, Dak is like, well, I think Dak should hurry up, sign this, because if they can't come to some sort of agreement by July 15th, I don't really know what to say. I don't know what's going to happen. But the Cowboys have positioned themselves in a better situation to where now they have a competent quarterback in the locker room who's going to be present for all the OTAs and training camp, and he's slated to come. So Dak should probably be looking at it like, I should probably sign this shit or get something worked out, because I mean, Andy Dalton can put up good numbers, especially handing the ball off to Zeke, throwing to CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper. Come on now. Behind that offensive line, way better weapons than he's ever had in Cincinnati. So why wouldn't I think he would succeed? Get it together, Dak. I'm not your agent or whatever, but it's props to the Cowboys. And honestly, for Dak's sake, he's lucky that it was Andy Dalton and it wasn't, I don't know, Cam Newton. Because then he would for sure have an issue. Like, big time. It would be an issue for him. So, I hope that situation works out for him. I hope he signs the contract and has Andy Dalton as his backup. Because, bro, I don't think holding out and not playing at all is in his best interest, honestly. So, I think he should get that squared away as soon as possible. So now I want to talk about LeBron's tweet. So my take on this tweet, LeBron says he has every intention of them finishing the season. And a couple reasons why I think that to be true is because the Lakers were peaking at the time that the NBA decided to cancel the rest of the games. And he really wants his season back because the most obvious reason, he's 35 right now, going to be 36 next year. The landscape of the league might look totally different. KD and Kyrie will be at full strength. The Bucks are still there. And this honestly might be his last surefire chance to win a championship. Because who knows what's going to happen next year? Who knows who's going to sign with who next year? And Bron probably recognizes that, and he's like, okay, I came here to win a championship. I'm trying to win a championship. This is my best opportunity now. Like, we have to finish this season off because it just has to happen. I don't think he's ready to throw that up there to chance to see, maybe or maybe not, we can win it next year when we have a season right here now that hasn't been settled. The Warriors are going to be stronger next year. Like, they have a lottery pick. They're going to get a lottery pick. So it's like, it's now or never for him and the Lakers. Even though I do anticipate Anthony Davis resigning, but there's just so many. There's so many things that go into winning a championship. So many different variables that what's the consistent now could be completely different next year. This time last year, nobody would have thought Paul George would be on the Clippers. This time now, same thing with KD and Kyrie. Oh, actually, people kind of figured that, but. Never know what's gonna happen. And the last thing I want to throw out there is I want to say rest in peace to Don Shula. He passed away a couple days ago. His impact on the NFL. For those of you who don't know, I'm assuming everybody who's watching this. Well, actually no, because Some of the people watch this like football, don't like basketball. Like basketball, don't like football. Like soccer, don't like basketball. Basketball, whatever. Don Shula was the legendary head coach of the Dolphins that went undefeated, only and first perfect season in NFL history. And he is one of the winningest coaches in NFL history. And he coached the Dolphins for 30 plus years, coached them to multiple Super Bowl titles. Coach Dan Marino was just an amazing coach, one of the best of his generation time and all time in terms of history. You will be missed. He lived a great life, a long life, and I wish you nothing but the best. My thoughts and prayers go out to his family. And that is the conclusion of today's episode. I want to thank you guys who, I don't care how many people end up listening to this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep grinding to the top. Like, comment, subscribe to my podcast, my channel. Stay tuned. I'm trying to work my absolute hardest to get into a consistent flow of doing this every single day, but I'm a busy person, so sometimes stuff comes up and, sometimes I get lazy, but I need to stop because I do see myself making a lot of money off this one day. And yeah, once again, I want to thank everybody for listening, rocking with me. Bow, movie, Favi. Let's get it. Ah!